Hey everybody, Johnny Cage here, welcoming you back to another game review. This time we're taking a look at Jackie Chan's Action Kung Fu, developed by Now Production and published by Hudson Soft, released December 14th, 1990 on the NES. Jackie's action-packed adventure spans across 5 levels with the goal of rescuing his twin sister Josephine from their master's arch-enemy, the Sorcerer, whom has cast a magical spell causing her to disappear. The gameplay consists of your standard move to the right and kill everything that moves kind of action, only this one comes with its own martial arts style, giving you some extra powerful attacks you can pick up along the way. You get yourself a couple different roundhouse kicks, as well as an upward thrusting kick I have never found to be all that useful, and my personal favorite, the tornado attack, where you contort yourself into a ball, hurling yourself at the baddies. The moves themselves not only do quite a bit of damage, but also make Jackie invulnerable when you're performing them, making it a good way to get through a particularly tough foe or a group of bad guys if need be. When you have one of these powers equipped, you get a bit of an illustration on how the move performs at the bottom middle of the screen, as well as how much ammo you have for said move, ranging from 7 to 9 uses for each one. But these powers aren't just going to be given out for free, oh no. You gotta earn these by doing some good old frog punching when our buddy Item Frog comes hopping by. Giving this little guy a boppin' will cause one of these special attacks to come flying out of it, though there is a chance he could just end up getting an energy bowl that will give you back 2 health if need be. Those special moves not giving you enough of an oomph? Well, why not give the Psycho Wave a try? That is basically this game's version of the Hadouken, the number of which you have available being indicated by these Dragon Balls on the bottom right. Just be careful about using these, because they aren't exactly as easy to get back as punching a frog, though a good way of getting some more is through the bonus stage that will activate when you touch this bell that can randomly appear throughout the levels. Here, Master Roshi will take you on a cloud ride to a little test of your platforming skills, with the screen auto-scrolling and your goal to land on as many of the clouds as possible before the stage ends. Once it is completed, your score will be tallied up and distributed amongst 3 different categories, the first going to extra lives, then refilling your health if need be, and finally to more of those Psycho Waves you might have burned through. But if you're having no luck finding these bells or landing on those clouds, then you can also pick up these Jade Stones, and after collecting 30 it will provide you with a full arsenal of Psycho Waves as well as full health. It makes sense that the bonus stage prioritizes extra lives over anything else, seeing as how the game only provides you with 7 lives / continues before you have to start the whole thing over from the very beginning. And while the levels are kind of on the long side compared to most action games on the NES, they do at least come with checkpoints, and the boss battles at the end of each stage are pretty easy, with usually large hitboxes you only have to graze to land a blow. Speaking of those stages, the first couple here are pretty straightforward, with not much outside of the realm of what you would expect. I think the game really starts to pick up when you get to the 3rd level with its rocket-powered turtle platforms you have to ascend the stage with. I did appreciate that if you fall though, you simply drop down to the previous screen rather than dying, a feature you didn't see very often on the original Nintendo. Next up you got the log ride portion of the game, complete with what appears to be Boomerang throwing Kappa and a frog boss with dragon wings spewing orbiting tadpoles. Stage 4 features even more clouds, just in case you hadn't had enough of them yet, at least this time they are of the bouncing variety, though getting a big bounce is kinda tricky as you have to hit the jump button pretty much exactly when you land on them. Good news is that just like in the previous level, falling won't cause you to die. Instead we just bounce off this big pink foot at the cost of some health, and it won't take long before you come across the owner of said foot in the form of a cloud cyclops. Pretty simple fight, just keep kicking away at his eye when it's open, being careful to dodge his strangely effeminate hands, and not before long you'll pop that sucker right out of his head. Last level, and this one really does throw everything that it has at you. A pretty good challenge that will put all that you've learned so far to the test, complete with the hardest enemies that you've come across and stage hazards like conveyor belts and auto-scrolling to keep you on your toes. The home stretch has you facing off against some of these golden dragon statues that appear to take a page out of the playbook of the dogs from Woodman stage in Mega Man 2 with their arcing sparkly bits. These guys are simple enough, but if you do have some trouble you are at least gifted something helpful after each encounter, which will better set you up for success against the 2-part final boss. This first guy is the especially tough one, shooting a big blue Hadouken of his own at you if you keep your distance, but more than happy to take a swing if you get too close. The standard strategy of running wild with Psycho Waves and martial arts kicks is perfectly fine here, but I never really got the impression that these moves were doing any more damage than the basic jump kicks he could deliver once you jump over his energy ball. Probably best to just get a rhythm going here and take him out that way, saving up the special moves for the second part of the fight, especially since if you die on either one of these, you will have to start from the beginning of the stage. Once our new friend here floats away into a little ball of fire, make your way to the right where our newly recovered sister will give you a bit of a health boost if need be before your master summons up a cloud car to take you to the final battle. And if you had guessed it was going to be a giant spider all along, well, great job. Makes as much sense as any of the others, I suppose. This fight is almost a formality. If you're at full health, I recommend getting in its face and trading blows until you finish it off. But if that's not going to work for you, then just sit back and hit it with any psycho waves you might have left, swooping in for the occasional shot until it's finally over. And that is that. Jackie will take a stroll to go see his rescued sister as they apparently stare awkwardly at each other for days on end before we finally get the credits rolling. A delightful little adventure that will probably take you less than an hour to complete even on your first playthrough, unless you should happen to lose all your lives and have to start from scratch. Unfortunately, there isn't much replayability here, but it has Jackie Chan, and that makes it worth a play every now and again. The controls are quite responsive, and I felt that I would almost always hit my mark with a punch or kick, being able to dodge most enemies with ease. The B button delivers those punches, or kicks if you're in the air, and A jumps. In Castlevania style, you hold up on the D-pad while pressing B to perform your special martial arts attacks, and holding down the B button will charge your Psycho Wave. One thing that I found odd was that while jumping, if you hold down, it will cause Jackie to come plummeting back down to Earth. Not sure if this was intentional or not. I suppose you could use it to your advantage to quickly dodge flying enemies, but it still seemed odd to me. Also, if you aren't above using cheat codes, you can press up, down, BA, followed by pressing B on the second player's controller for 99 continues if you would like. Visually, the game is pretty well detailed for a late NES title. The backgrounds are well crafted for the most part, though the game does have a somewhat limited color palette and the tones used are mostly subdued rather than popping off the screen. But what does that matter when Jackie has one of the most determined walk cycles in any game ever? The audio follows suit for the most part. Each level has its own unique music, which is always appreciated, though the boss themes are always the same. Still a fine effort that will keep you going throughout, just not likely anything you'll want to listen to outside of playing the game. These days you can pick up a card of Jackie Chan's Action Kung Fu for around $65 American on eBay. Another example of a late NES game that was quite good overall and has one of cinema's greatest martial arts actors tied to it, which helps explain the hefty price tag. It's still kind of surprising to me that this game even got released in the United States at least. Mind you, Jackie Chan has been making movies in Hong Kong and China for decades, with his earliest credits dating back to 1962 when he was only 8 years old. My first memory of a Jackie Chan film was Rumble in the Bronx, which wasn't released until 1995, almost 5 years after this game's release. So my guess is that an exec over at Hudson Soft caught wind of this title and figured, hey, it's the early 90s and kids love ninjas, so let's just go ahead and roll the dice on it. And about 30 years later, perhaps you should as well. I'm gonna go ahead and give Jackie Chan's Action Kung Fu 7 Kung Fu Hustles out of 10. The variability and replayability are not this game's strong suits, but it does have some great controls and fun power-ups. And with Jackie Chan likely a part of your film library already, why not also make him a part of your video game library just the same? Thank you everyone for watching, and if you'd like to stay posted on new game reviews as I upload them, please click the subscribe button, as well as checking out the link in the description below for my Twitch channel where I stream most days. I'll talk to you all later on.